Good evening, free enterprise fans. We have ourselves a hype community race for you for Final Fantasy IV Free Enterpriser. We have just a loaded slate for you today. Invenerable, Supremacy, Hippos, and Zyrak. My name's Vitasia, and I'm joined tonight by Unknown Availability. UA, how we doing tonight?
I'm hype, man. These four are amazing runners, and Venerable and I believe Supremacy 2 were both in the top 8. You know, like, you're gonna have some fun. And the flags, these are a little bit easier than what everybody's used to seeing with the round of 8 and round of 16, but still, we're gonna see a lot of great plays, and we're gonna see free lunch. So you're gonna see a lot of free characters out there they're gonna be able to pick up. They're gonna be able to go to Edward and Troya, pick up an item immediately. This is going to be a really fun match to watch, especially between these four.
Absolutely. We were joking a little bit earlier, and I made a comment, and you rebutted it immediately. I joked that I was calling this training wheels percent because, J items, K2, free lunch, T2, S2, so nothing is really crazy in the shops or in the treasure chests. And then you turn around and pointed, yeah, but we have that Wyvern flag.
Oh yeah, there's somebody named Wyvern out there, and he likes to mega nuke. Now here's the thing, I don't think any of these four are going to have a problem with that.
Not really. Natara's raiding us. Natara, thank you so much for that raid. All the love out to you, Natara. We are starting with Ordeals percent here. We get a Luca key, but Tella and Cecil immediately to start things up.
Come on, son. Let's go to the ship. That's it. I think I mentioned this just before about Ordeals and how even if you start with Tella in Dark Knight Cecil, you don't always think to go to Ordeals. I wonder if they make that play, or if they get rid of DKC. I wonder if they're just not even going to think about turning him into a paladin.
Well, I mean, that could be interesting, because Cecil does have the most powerful sword in the game if you can find it. Now, you're not guaranteed to find it with these particular flag sets. So we're going to see immediately some people checking out the item shop. Life's Sirens and Pass already in the item shop in Baron. What is this nonsense?
I had a feeling about that, but Supremacy deciding to run against the grain here, and he goes to the Village of Mist first.
Yep, and using that Tella exit. The one good thing about Tella is that he does come with exit right away. So he is very handy in some of these early dungeons, so you don't have to walk out Antlion Cave and a lot of the different places. Supremacy looks like he's going to be putting that to use, and we're immediately going to be seeing the first effect of the free lunch turned on. So he's going to be checking out Edward. Normally, this item, in recent years anyway, has been turned off and is exchanged for whenever I'm just stumbling over my words. The Dark Mist Dragon, that's right.
Yeah, so with free lunch turned on, you're going to get characters in certain places like Watery Pass and things like that, and they pick up the Earth Crystal from Edward and Troya. When you turn off free lunch, that means you don't get the Watery Pass, you don't get Ordeals, you don't get Mysidia characters, and you have to kill the Mist Dragon to go to Rydia's mother in Village of Mist. So that's the major difference right there.
So Inven also ends up going over to Mysidia to pick up his characters first. Looks like he's prioritizing characters, picks up a young and also our Quack Kid. Edward did end up giving us the Earth Crystal, which unlocks the treasury in Troya. So while you're here, might as well loot that.
I love that we're seeing different methods here. We see the people going for easy, quick items, understanding that it is free lunch. And Venerable's going for item density. He's going for, let's find characters, let's find items for these characters, let's find out who we're going to have, then let's go get the key items. Let's find our team. And then once we're ready to go, we're going. And we're going to grind and get to Zerones.
I do tend to like that strategy myself a little bit better, just because it helps with inventory management. how often have we all hung on to a Masamune or a White Spear or anything like that, hoping to find a Cane later? If you get your party first, you don't have to worry about what you're going to hang on to and what you're not.
Or holding onto that crystal sword, just hoping that you find paladins or, Cecil somewhere. But this time, if you find it, you're probably going to Ordeal.
So more lives, cabins, and silk webs are also available in Troya. And Ben joining everyone else in Troya. It's a Troya party!
I heard it's a fun place. A lot of water, beautiful ladies. What can I say?
I was going to say, in the vanilla game, it's a very fun place. It's NC-17.
And they have a lot of talking frogs. You can't beat talking frogs.
Kermit's not back yet, is he? I kid. All right, Supremacy now picking up his Punch Mage and Quake Kid. Meanwhile, we have a Vanilla Edward in Damsian. So while picking up our wonderful, possibly necessary hovercraft, we get a tag along.
I can tell you he's probably going to be gone the fastest. And these flags, he has no use. Tella has more use than he does.
I mean, yeah, you're right. And we have a treacherous Dragoon in the Watery Pass. So Kane's a really rock solid fighter here at that point. Good HP and can equip quite a few things. If you're worried about getting like an Avenger sword and not having anyone to equip it, so you might ditch Cecil, Kane's a nice solution to that. So we'll see what ends up happening here.
So also Hippo's going to pick up the Quack Kid and Punch Mage, and I want to know who goes to Ordeals first. I really do, because I feel like the Ordeals play might be the right play here.
It could be, but it's still early. Despite filling out our party at this point in time, Tell is still the only one that we have that isn't level 10. Even Edward is level 5. So getting anything beyond Antlion Cave, you might be able to push things a little bit, go elsewhere. The first few places, Antlion Cave, Mount Hobbs, if you really are desperate for characters, and then the Fabul Gauntlet. Those are really the only 3 locations that we have any chance of touching base right now.
Well, don't forget that they do get a character on Mount Ordeals. So there is going to be a random character in there. Now, Zyrak is going through and actually looting more of the Watery Pass than I usually see anybody do. That's very interesting. Looking like he gets a flame spear for his troubles and a decent set of armor too. I guess, if you have exit, why not go a little further, check a few more spots? That doesn't sound too bad.
It's actually a pretty heads-up play, I think, by Zyrak. Knowing that you have, exit mage at this point in time, that's really beneficial because you don't spend a ton of time doing other things. Zyrak is also going to be the first to show us. I didn't see who that was.
That was so quick, I didn't see it either. Wow.
Like, I want to say it looked like possibly a Fusoya, but I'm not entirely certain.
Ooh, that's an interesting spot for food. If he's there, that's less of a chance of getting him somewhere else.
Yeah, the only reason I saw is like a hint of blue and lots of white. So I'm like, that might be a Fusoya.
Yeah, considering the other white-haired fellow we got, he's already in our team. You're going to see less and less dupes or duplicates in this particular flag set because free lunch, you're not going to have the same 5 characters with the C3 flag. We have a Moon Boss on the Antlion Cave. D-Lunar. Okay. All right. Sorry, I was hoping for Wyvern.
I mean, you got real easy to get wound up there. We see Hippo's going to be using some of these items, Thor Rages, Gaia Drums, clearing out some of his inventory while simultaneously doing the requisite damage. You don't want to fight the D-Lunars because they will start countering and then going into their crazy virus counter phase. However, Hippos ends up getting through there using that Gaia drum and finds our magma key.
So no Eblin Cave today. They're not going that way at all. Not even if there's deep mist down there. So we're not seeing Eblin Cave unless they're wanting to check that shop, and that's it.
Check the shop. There's also a character that they can also check, which is a possibility if they're super not happy, if they really want to ditch. We have both Tella Edward and Dark Knight Cecil. Those are 3 characters that are the most common to ditch when you have lots of options available to you. So it's possible, not probable, that we might end up heading over there just to...
You see what I see? I see Zyrak and outdoor deals.
You do. He's making... This is an early dive. He hasn't done anything else yet. And there's a duplicate cane.
Wow, and I'm sitting here talking about the chances of dupes being less and less. What character was actually in Baron Inn? I didn't catch that earlier.
That was a Quake Kid, so that's 2 duplicates we've already gotten.
Wow. So yeah, that's even less of a chance. If that was Fusoya over there with where you use Sand Ruby, that's even less of a chance that he's going to be somewhere else. So if with that knowledge, if we see a Sand Ruby somewhere, I can imagine they're going to go back and grab him. You know, couple of Sirens in their inventory, going to do a quick Lilith grind. That's not a bad idea.
No, it's not horrible, actually. Lilith can give some decent experience right here. So 5,500 right now, and getting enough levels that you're going to be able to really go through here relatively quickly. I might do one more just to make it a little bit easier, but I don't know if he has the items to do so.
I believe Zyrak has some cabins, so, you know, doing another Siren and using those level 2 black spells. And okay, explain this to me. You called for them. How did you get a back attack?
Because it's like, you know, you call for the delivery guy, and then you're like, I can take a quick shower real quick, and then they come when you're still in the shower. They just come too fast. That's the only explanation I have.
It's like getting back attacked by an egg. How? It's like, how did you get snuck up on by an egg?
You ever see those YouTube videos of a cat turning around and there's a cucumber right there to get super shocked? That's
yes.
How.
Yes. And it happens.
Commentator's curse is a real thing.
Why? I don't understand. Game, please. Programming, please.
So meanwhile, Hippos is the first to the underworld. He's immediately doing an egg grind. He says, nah, we're good, brah. We're not doing Fabul yet because we're going to wait until we have at least a pan to be able to go and make that an efficient check. He does have his Sirens to be able to go ahead and check and get a few levels here, and why not?
I mean, that makes sense. If you're going to do... He doesn't have Edward. He went through the Watery Pass. He went through the Mysidia characters, so he doesn't have to worry about Edward. I mean, other than a healer, and even then, that doesn't really matter at the level that these guys play at. You can take this group to Zeramus.
You can. I don't know if you'd be happy about taking this group to Zeramus, because again, you want to be able to do a little bit more. And Tella is nice, not thrilling, but he's serviceable, I suppose.
Yeah, like I said, it's possible. If you're going for let's do this as fast as possible and not search for characters, this group is suitable. It's a C3 group that you're not upset about having. First boss on Ordeals is the Baron soldiers is what I call them, but they're the ones that come after Rydia.
Yeah, the Baron soldiers, it's not bad at this point. They're relatively low HP. The way the randomizer ends up working is if you have an enemy with multiple objects in it like this, you have multiple targets at this point, it will take the HP allotment for that particular one and split it up proportionally. Now, in this particular setup, the majority of the HP is always set up into the officer, Meanwhile, the soldiers end up having a lower HP amount. And the officer ends up running away eventually, so it's really pretty easy to get through this.
Oh yeah, especially if you have a Gaia drum or Quack Kid with Quack, and you just knock out those front few, and the officer's just, no, I'm good. He never even swings. He just tells everybody else to do his dirty work.
And of course, as Zyrak showing us, they're also vulnerable to coffins, which we did find. I believe those were in Troya in the proper item shop. And we see a glass helmet from Hippos there in the Fey March. So nothing really going on there.
And that is something to point out with these particular flags. This isn't like the qualifier flags where everything is in a nice little package where you can pick them up in key item spots. There are going to be some items on the moon. So we're going to see some moon fights. I don't doubt it all.
Worth noting, Hippos did not even... It looked like he kind of instinctively reached and wanted to go check what the bosses were there in the Fey March, but then he realized, it doesn't matter if D-Mist is there, because it's free lunch. I don't need to check.
But they can still hold items. So if he could have gotten a little bit of intel on what they are, and actually known if a couple of them are a free fight, like maybe, I don't know, Water Hag or something like that, you got 5 characters. You can get through a Water Hag fight.
It depends. If it's at the Asura spot, for example, Asura is fast. So that could be a problem to where Water Hag will still wipe out your party before you can get 3 attacks in. So I don't necessarily disagree with it. I see what he was doing. In Venerable, it looks like he's doing something very similar. Supremacy also in the underground.
Yeah, I mean, this is a natural route. Really, Zyrak is the one that's going against the grain here and making the, as you were calling them earlier, the low percent strats, going right into ordeals, which I can't blame them. If you're getting items for Paladin Cecil, changing him over to a Paladin, even if you're going to get rid of Tella, Paladin Cecil is strong. You find even the Excalibur. So, like, that's just power.
I do like it, and I like the low percent plays, knowing that certain people in the community really hate the Ordeals play, really hate the Luca play, can really play to your advantage. If you play against those low percent plays, you can really do very well. Hippo is showing us Plague at the Fabul Gauntlet spot. However, with that egg grind, I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, they should be just fine. Oh wow, yeah, Kane with a jump doing 13. That's 1300. That's a lot. Having Quake already and doing it on a floating enemy, I don't think he thought that one out.
I mean, probably not, but
yeah, that Mylon Z gets me every time. I Quake and I'm like, how come that didn't work?
All right, so Supremacy just made me do a double take there. It looked like he took a step into the sealed cave and said, No, I'm good, actually.
White Spear was at Fabul. That is nice.
I mean, that's not what you wanted to see per se, but you'll take that. You will take that every day of the week when you have Kane.
I won't argue. I will get the key item somewhere else. I don't care. White Spear is nice.
Zyrak just showed us what the item was on Ordeals, but I missed it.
Yeah, I missed it too. I don't think it was a key item. Okay, Tower Key. There it is. Our tracker confirming that. Thank you very much for that. Which, big shout out to J Money Motos for doing the tracking for us. Doing a fantastic job, making sure keeping us honest. And if you just blinked, you missed Vomit.
I mean, why not? Because, I mean, Bahamut is free at that point in time. It's only 1,000 HP spot. You can usually deal out that kind of damage pretty easily. And Sheila gives us an Excalibur, so, hey, that makes that Ordeals play that much nicer. Zyrak has the Paladin portion. Hippos has the Excal portion.
So, something else I just noticed, Zyrak has not been to Antlion Cave, so they don't have their underground access. They have a tower key, that might play into their routing, and they might stay actually, you know, underground longer, where Hippos is going up to Ordeals, so they're going to get that Paladin.
Zyrak looks like doing a little bit more grinding here. Hippo's finding his duplicate cane. Yeah, Hippo's doing Ordeals right now is actually going to be a great play for him. To get that tower key, that will likely drive him down to do the tower because he has that access. And I mean, you might as well at this point in time. You got the levels, and you're going to have Cecil with an Excalibur. Do you think that getting that Excalibur is what drove him to say, okay, I might as well upgrade my Cecil?
I think so. Honestly, that makes the most sense. When you find the weapon that you're looking for, he was intending on getting rid of DKC until he found a weapon that makes him a super valuable piece of the puzzle. Yeah, now Ordeals is at play. Because one, you don't have another mage to replace Tella right now. Tella is actually pretty useful. Once you're done with Ordeals, he's going to have a whole array of spells to make fights just snap fast. So he'll have Weak, he won't have Quake or Nuke, which, why?
Yeah, I know. It is interesting, despite this being free lunch, and despite kind of the openness getting an early Magma Key, we have identical parties across the board. We've ditched our Edward because, of course, we're going to ditch Edward. But otherwise, it's Cecil, Tella, Young, Palom, and Kane across the board. That's unusual to see in a free lunch scene.
It really is. But then again, we've hit the major spots that you get characters early. So we're not... I think Zyrek's actually making the Zot play, or he might just be getting the item from Troya, or did he already get that?
He's already gotten the item from Troya. He's going to be making the play. He's not visited Antlion Cave. He's avoiding that. Again, it's that low percent place. I've said it a 1,000 times. When you're dealing with a randomizer, it's not just about the plays you make, but it's about making the plays that your opponents don't make. Zyrak is playing the odds. It says everyone goes to Antlion. I'm going to avoid Antlion to save some time. I mean, it's led him into kind of an interesting direction at this point in time. If this ends up playing well for Zyrak, great. But that Magma Key.
All I gotta say is, I mean, honestly, it hasn't hurt him, but it hasn't helped him. Nobody's really found anything super valuable outside of, Antlion Cave. They've gone down there, they found a glass helm, okay. They found a few items to equip with, but this could be the Darkness Crystal. This could lead him to Moon Grind. This could lead him to things on the moon. This could lead to anything that is going to be useful. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a bad thing or not, because Antlion Cave is such an obvious spot to go. So it's not going to be something they forget.
No, and I think that's the point, is that Zyrak knows that everyone goes there, so he's going to avoid it because whatever's there, he's hoping that he's saving time regardless. Meanwhile, we see both Hippos and Inven on their way up Mount Ordeals. Supremacy looks like he's ditching the crystal gloves, which tells me he might be ditching a Cecil before too long.
I did notice in Supremacy's inventory he got dark mattered earlier.
You know what? It's all right getting dark mattered. Everyone gets dark mattered.
Yes, sometimes you just miss the art. Oh no! Oh,
Val, you know what? Val's not bad. You have Kane.
I forgot we had Kane for a second. I'm like, oh no, I have horrible nightmares of this boss.
Val is absolutely intimidating if you do not have Kane. And that's, there's very few bosses in this game that you say, as long as I have this one character, I'm okay. Like, that just doesn't happen unless Val is with Kane.
Exactly. And, the worst spot, the Rubicon spot in Cave Evelyn, when you run into Valis there and you're just like, Oh no. And you know there's another spot that you can go because of the way the game is programmed for this randomizer. You don't have to worry about being locked out of the underground by Valvalis, Golbez, Dark Knight Cecil. Maybe not Dark Knight. I don't know if Dark Knight Cecil is actually on that list without a particular flag, but Wyvern also does not block you. So those in particular will not block you from the underground. So yeah, Zyrek knows that Valvalis isn't blocking their underground access, so they know somewhere else has the Magma Key, and if they get the hook here, they know for a fact Magma Key is behind something somewhere else.
You know, something I just thought of. We had French Vanilla Mylan up here on Mount Ordeals. We have French Vanilla Vivalas down here. Is this going to be a French Vanilla for Fiends?
Oh, man. Wow. Yeah. What about French Vanilla characters? Are we going to get Rosa first, and are we going to run in and see a dupe Cecil?
I don't know. I mean, this is going to be right here. We've already had one dupe Kane, so I don't think we're going to get another dupe Kane. It's a possibility, though. So Zyrek is through Val, and we will see what will become here shortly.
Yeah, I don't know who I'd be hoping to find. I feel like Rosa might be on that list. Maybe Sid. Like, we've seen already 2 dupes, and usually on these flags, you don't see as many duplicate characters.
No, I'm thinking like a white mage. Oh, there's a Kidia.
Well then.
I mean...
I don't know. No, you don't. You don't have Bahamut. You don't have anything to give her. She's not... Nah.
I mean, I saw a Dragon Whip, but I'm like, yeah, there's no reason for Iridia here. But a Rosa? A Vanilla Rosa? I'll take that in a heartbeat.
I'm calling. Come on. Please, put the Embrace back in there. Can you just imagine having Edward and Z3 and picking up another Edward and they embrace and it's like, oh, Edward's hug.
No, I can't. All right, so he had to think long and hard about that. He's like, do I really want to try to fight whatever this boss is going to be without much of a white mage? Yes, you do.
That is a tough call, though. That is a very tough call, because if this fight is heavy damage, you have 0 heals now. I don't even know if they found Cure 2s or Cure 3s. It's Elements.
The Elements fight. Oh my goodness. And meanwhile, Hippos he's over here. He had a Leviathan fight, but that seemed to be a pretty weak Leviathan.
That's why. It was in the dark end spot. So they are in tower. I missed what was that. Did they go to the top of tower? I missed that.
No, they haven't been to top of tower yet. They wanted to stop here. You know, I've always gone to top of tower first because you have to walk down anyway. Might as well. Elements is down. Wow. Okay.
You know, Kane must have done a number. That jump really does a lot of damage.
And he's the one with the white spear, right?
No. The white spear was in the Fabul, and they haven't been to Fabul yet.
In the vanilla Lugate, what is this?
Oh, well, we also know that Dark Knight Cecil is actually the Rubicon spot. So we're not going to see DKC today, which honestly, at some point, DKC fight is pretty easy once you have enough health. It's not going to be that big of a deal. But that's another boss we don't have to be concerned about running into at a poor time.
Darkness Crystal.
Well then, so that's Moon Access. They're going to go to the Baron Inn, which we have not seen yet. Antlion is the first fight that Blankenet's gone. What else is here? Let's see. This second fight can actually get you.
Soldiers.
Okay,
never mind.
I've run into some pretty rough ones there for a while.
So yeah, Hippos is fighting now a Dr. Luge at the top of tower. See what that is, but man, Zyrak with the play, Darkness Crystal, that's huge. I mean, that is huge.
And you know, I mean, chat points out again, I kind of forgot, this is also French vanilla. So much vanilla in this particular seed right now.
Makes me think I'm in an ice cream shop with how much vanilla we're having here. A worthless rat tail. Okay, if you're Zyrak, do you keep following that? Like, you have done everything you can to follow the breadcrumbs you've been given. Do you keep following it? Do you go to the Darkness Crystal and say, what's up?
At some point, you got to go to Antlion Cave. You can't keep putting that off. Now, one of the things that may lead them over there is, one, I don't think they've been to Damsian yet. So going ahead and getting the land speeder out, you have Rat Tail now. Preparing for the Rat Tail to have something, they may go up there and get Antlion Cave right after getting the land speeder out. So that may be a part of their routing choice.
I don't know. If I'm Zyrak, I'm feeling good about that Darkness Crystal. And he proves me wrong immediately.
I mean, not even getting the land speeder, just going directly to Antlion Cave. So doing it a little bit late, probably realizing they're out of locations for anything else to be, realizing this is either going to be a hook or the magma key.
Yeah, but so much. You have sirens. You have everything you need. Just go to the moon. Please go to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, the moon is a very nice place to go. And, you know, as the wonderful Rivers likes to say, there's always value in Cape Bahamut. I'm pretty sure Zyrak did buy the pass. I think almost everybody is either has the pass or will have the pass sooner or later. They all saw that right there in the Baron End, and there goes Supremacy buying the pass right there.
Yeah, I don't think it's much of a doubt at this point. You buy the pass. And we have Cecil exit, because why not? Hippos did end up finding the Sand Ruby. Looks like that was in the tower, and he's coming over here. Oh!
It was Edge.
You know what? I'll take it.
Are we going to have a vanilla foo?
We might. Keep in mind, there's one location that we really don't check all that frequently, and that is on the Giant of Babel. Foo could be buried there, and we just might never see him.
That's very true. We also have not seen Sid. We also haven't seen the other twin. So there's a possibility of either of those being on the moon as well.
So we have Moon, Whale, Baron, and Dwarf Castle so far. So 4 spots, and those 3 we haven't seen yet.
So there's going to be one more dupe, and it could be one of those 3.
Package.
So probably 2 more dupes. Unless there's a character I'm just completely blanking. Which is possible, because I've done that before. I don't know. Either way, we just saw Edge, so that's great. That's a huge pickup. I don't know if we have any weapons for him. He starts off with decent equipment already, kind of like Fu does.
Yeah, Edge is one of those guys that even if you don't pick up any equipment, he's serviceable on Zero Must, even with his vanilla equipment. Uh-oh, Hippos is going up here to Zot. If he follows through, he's going to be the second one with his Darkness Crystal. Zyrak doing an egg grind right now.
He'll be the third, because Invenerable does have his Darkness Crystal.
Right. Okay. I believe it might do that Hippos nabbed the Sand Ruby from the tower in the underworld. He found the tower key from Sheila and said, yep, I'm going there. Not from Sheila, but he found the tower key through his early exploits and is the first one really to cash that in.
Yeah, he went to the top of the tower and did the tower spot, the tower door. So it was either from one of those spots. I don't think he got the hook too. So he has the hook and the sand ruby from the tower. Both of those are in the tower. That's actually really interesting that is where the hook is. That's so the hook was actually the top of tower and sand ruby was the cannon. So yeah, that hook is going to lead for the rat tail. I wonder if Zyrak is going to end up going through tower soon. Considering they're grinding eggs right now, that's probably the natural case here. And Venerable's probably going to be right behind them too.
Seems logical at this point in time. Yep. Now, we've seen Zyrak, we've seen Zyrak make those low percent plays before. It would be interesting to see him do something off the wall. If not go to the moon, then maybe turn in this Luca key to see if that would end up going. Or we have Dwarf Castle as well. There's always that possibility of those low percent plays, and we've seen Zyrak make those plays already with that early play into the Mount Ordeals. But, you know, as if on cue, he proves me wrong.
Yeah, this is probably the most like obvious play. I can see them going to Dwarf or Luca after this, though. I can see them doing that just because they're here. They have all the items for the underground right in their hands. The only one they're missing is the pan to go ahead and do the Yang Sinklets over there in the Self Cave. So, I mean, why not? If they're here and they're already making those other plays and they avoided Antlion Cave so long, why not?
Inven is following Zyrak almost immediately up. Meanwhile, Hippos is finishing off getting his Rosa. Supremacy is also in the Tower of Zot, kind of right on Hippo's tail.
Rydia and Rosa joined? You mean just Rosa?
Yeah, I don't... Rydia is... Let's be realistic. Rydia is middling at best. If you have an early Bahamut, she can carry you. If you have a Heroine Robe and a Dragon Whip, that's nice. But she is clearly the inferior Black Mage.
Yeah, I understand the love for Rydia. I get it. I loved her in the vanilla game, but you gotta find the right stuff. She's worse than, say, Cecil when you need to find a weapon. It's like you can level Cecil to a point to where he's still powerful enough, and Rydia just takes forever. She always stays at low health without over leveling. It's rough.
And I think we're right back to where we were, where everyone's going to have a very similar party. The only difference, of course, is going to be Hippos with his edge over, our favorite Punch Mage Yang, which, if you're doing leveling anyway, I think it's kind of, 6 of one, half dozen of another. They're both relatively decent at high levels, and Yang has more HP, so he can certainly survive more at those high levels.
I completely agree. It's a toss-up on who you want when it comes to what you're looking for. With Edge, it's a little bit more equipment required. With Yang, you can roll with 2 of the basic actual claws and do damage. He's got an interesting mechanic that with his health, he does more damage. He's really strong, and you'll see that he does quite a bit of damage. Now, Supremacy's having a little bit of trouble with the elements over there. I think after one more jump, though, he'll be done on that end. Well, close to it. On the Kainazo section, and Zyrak getting Balnab Z going to be going through that, knocking them out and doing the second part of the Luge fight. And Venerable is literally around the same spot, just getting Balnab Z down. Everybody has their pass now, and now Hippos is going to do the Baron in fight. So they're going to be cleaning that up. Interesting to see who may go to the moon first out of Invenerable and Zyrak once they're done with this tower dive. I'm probably going to go check the rat tail after this, but Zyrak, just like before, doing the low percent plays, going and doing ordeals and things like that before everybody else. I'm wondering if they're going to do that Luca dive and then maybe try to save Scum. Go down, check the item, and then leave if it's not something important, if they need to. So I'll be interesting to see that, as well as if they go into the Dwarf Castle, because both of those plays are plays that nobody likes to do.
Yeah, we're kind of coming to a head in this race. We're at about 38 and a half minutes in the race right now. All four of our runners on the restream right now are kind of finishing up their breadcrumb trails at this point in time, and we'll have to make decisions very shortly. So we'll see where we end up going. And Supremacy says, I'm a level some more.
I mean, at this point, levels are not a problem. You're getting to a point that you're going into spots that hurt. The Luke Key going into that cave is going to hurt. That boss is not a soft boss, so you'll take a lot of damage there. As well as going into Dwarf Castle, you can meet your doom there pretty easily. As well as if you're going up to the moon, all those are in-game bosses. So yeah, that's some tough stuff. If you're going to go to Feymarch, you're going to fight tough bosses.
You do? Oh, Hippos finds the pan from the rat tail turn-in. That could be an interesting breadcrumb.
That is a... Who puts the pan behind a rat tail? Come on.
Someone who loves trolls.
Right?
So the only thing I'm worried about with is the possibility of over-leveling. With Cecil, and this is kind of one of those niche things that people talk about a lot, you always have to worry about Cecil being your agility anchor, and if you level him too much, he kind of overshoots a lot of the key agility breakpoints that you really want to do before the Zero Miss fight. And we haven't found any curse rings or drain swords or anything like that to kind of mitigate that. So if we do level up, to be prepared to clear out a bunch of bosses up on the moon, and then we end up over leveling them, it could end up biting us in the tail a little bit later.
That's possible, but there's also the interesting fact of, like, it seems like sometimes even if you do Baron Key is at Sylph Cave. Throw that in there real quick, but sometimes whenever you do overlevel Cecil, it doesn't seem like it always matters. There's been plenty of times that I've seen runners just not even pay attention to the agility and go through and still just wreck Zeromus, not even have a problem. And with having Rosa, you're going to be able to heal through a lot of bad things. So.
Worth noting, Hippos does already also have 10 key items, so the experience explosion is about to happen. We're missing, of course, some of the key ones: Spoon, Pinktail, some of the empty ones, I would say. Spoon, Pinktail, Adamant, Package at this point in time. Twin Harp, which I'm a little bit sad for. There's the Spoon.
Vanilla. A vanilla spoon. Why is everything in its spot or next to it?
It's official. This is a vanilla % seed.
Oh, is Zyrak going to be able to do something about this?
He reset.
I saw them buffers and I'm like, does he have a stop? I don't think he does. I don't think anybody's found hourglasses yet. Night Dew. It's a runners. Cave Bahamut beckons.
Cave Bahamut, always value at Cave Bahamut, so the meme goes. I don't necessarily agree with that, because Cave Bahamut has been my doom many times.
Yeah, I mean, it's been relatively... that saying is pretty correct for me. Even though it hasn't been like game-changing, value, it's been like an Excalibur when I need it the most. It's been a Masamune or a Murasame when I've needed it the most. It's always been something to at least help me. It's never been like, oh, you already have your 5 characters in C3? Here's the package.
Oh, and Invenerable is actually going to be making the sealed cave play. What?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I've watched quite a bit of Invenerable, and he will save scum this. He will save scum this. He's going to do another save on one of the other files and be ready to fight the boss if he needs to, and it'll put him in a good spot. But otherwise, he's gone. He's going to step right out of there and be out of there. So it doesn't take as much time as it may feel. It's about a 3-minute walk if you're picking up all the chests, but without picking up all the chests, and he's skipping the ones that he's even walking by, it's probably about a minute and a half. So it's a long walk, but if it's not something you need, if he just sees a legend sword, he's not staying. He's going to go ahead and reset and hit right back up.
Well, he's even using a cabin, so he's preparing for the possibility.
Oh yeah, he's going to move down that save without a doubt. He's not going to save over his original file. Boom, right there.
Yep.
And I love this strat. I've started using it myself, and I've learned so much from watching some of these other runners like Supremacy and Venerable, Hippo, Zyrak, these four especially, and plenty of others in the community. It's a very good strat to get through this cave without having to deal with a whole bunch. It's the package. No! Goodbye.
Get out of here.
Immediate reset. Go back to file 1. Do not pass go. Do not collect your character. And there you go. A whole minute and a half wasted. Who cares? He has that knowledge. Doesn't have to worry about a thing.
Yeah, so looks like he's going to be turning in his Sheila Worth right now. Meanwhile, Zyrak is just now. It's like, hey, would you like an Edward? Would you like? I have an Edward to sell you. No.
Would you like a harp? It plays music. No. But be strong. No.
So we are still looking for the crystal, of course, the twin harp, the legend sword, the adamant, and the pink tail. And that's it. Now, we haven't checked places still here on the Earth. We haven't checked in Baron yet, in Baron proper. We haven't checked 3 of the summon locations from Leviathan, Asura, and Odin.
Which, with the Baron key, we just got access to. We also have not checked Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, so there are 5 items still out there. There are 5 key items, or 5 locations that we haven't checked here on the moon. This has been, I mean, all things said, this has been a pretty dense, main world. Normally there's quite a few items up on the moon. So far, though, we're able to even get our 10 key items without ever leaving the Earth.
Yeah, I mean, will this be a just skip the moon seed? That'll be very interesting. Like you said, typically the moon has some value, but right now, other than the pink tail, we don't really want to see any of those other items. And we see that it's Yang and the Magus sisters are the 2 spots, and ouch, that hurt.
Punch Wizard doing Punch Wizard things.
But this is technically a free fight, though, isn't it? Because once he kicks twice and having Cecil in your party, doesn't he go ouch and stops?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it's 3 kicks, and once Cecil, I think, does 1 good swing, he should say ouch and it's done. Yeah, there he goes.
There it is. Ouch. Meanwhile, Inven is up here in Baron Castle with an Octomum to start off with, and Hippos is going to show us, drumroll, the crystal!
What? The crystal is a free
Okay.
fight. We don't even have to go to the moon! Who rolled the seed?
I don't know I don't know who did it.
I can tell you who didn't. It wasn't Shala.
It wasn't Scala. It wasn't Scala. We're going to have a sub-hour seed here, folks. So those folks, and here's the thing. I was saying, go to the moon, go to the moon, go to the moon, go to the moon. Man, I would have lost horribly in this particular seed.
And there's the useless D-Mist, the king of Baron.
Yeah, we already have the pass. Hippos has 10 key items. He's got plenty of key items. He's just get everyone up. He's got a solid party. He's got 3 frontline fighters, a black mage and a white mage. In fact, it's a vanilla only upgrade at black mage.
Yeah, exactly. That's I don't think you could ask for a better party.
Yeah, he's checking Cecil's agility right now and saying, okay, I want to get his agility just right before he kills him off.
So I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think the Baron item is going to be Twin Heart.
Oh, man. That would absolutely debate everyone. Well, Inven, at least at this point.
And there's another dupe. We have Rosa. I was like, who are we going to see over here as well?
All right, Hippos did kill off his Cecil, so he's in a good spot for that.
Zyrak just getting their white spear. Yeah, that is such an interesting spot for that crystal, because with like everyone went down there and nobody checked the boss. Nobody checked the bosses there. And then Hippos goes immediately there before going to even Luca Key or checking anything like that. That was a pretty 200 IQ play.
Well, yeah, and Hippos is a very smart player. Absolutely, he's an incredibly intelligent player. Murasame from Baron. So he's not going to get debated with a breadcrumb trail. Yeah, Night 2 points out that Infant did check the bosses, but had Dark Knight Cecil. That alternative ending to that young fight, for the Coretti fight, actually, you need Paladin Cecil.
Yes, you do. That is the trigger in the vanilla Baron fight. That's where you find Young. He's got some weird problem. You got to clonk him on the head a couple times. Apparently, this game just likes you to clonk Young at the head.
I mean, if he's got the noggin for it and his wife approves, and I think this is a free boss here. We have the King Queen of Evelyn at Odin's spot.
That is a free boss. And that's not even a high magic spot either, so their fires aren't going to do much at all. So yeah, this is completely free. Yeah, 47 on Quack Mage. And Zyrak is also getting debated by that Baron key. So going to be going in there, getting the Murasame. I don't think they have an edge. The edge was the Sand Ruby, and none of them have gone back to get that yet. Or go back to get edge yet.
That's unfortunate. And here Hippos is. He's set. He's good to go.
With Silkweb's lives right there too. Like, that's so just convenient. All right, chat. It's that time. We're going through using the pass on our way to Zeromus. Who are we going to see today? Who is our special guest?
You know what? I'm hoping for someone new. I really, really, really want to see someone new that we haven't seen before.
I agree. I always like seeing new ones, but there's a special place in my heart for Mike Tysonus. I love that one because that was the first one I ever saw, and it cracked me up so much. So Supremacy is also getting slightly debated by the Baron key here. Luckily, there's no breadcrumbs, but Invenerable is going to be doing the Dark Dwarves, going to be doing the Dwarves Castle. So Feymarch is calling, guys. Feymarch.
Feymarch is calling. Here's the interesting thing, and this would be hilarious. How many of us, and I think we all do it subconsciously, metagame to a degree, where we're keeping an eye on the SRL channel and go, oh, someone just got done. Clearly the moon was the right play. I did everything wrong. And how many people are we going to see immediately go up to the moon?
I can see it. I've done it. I have moments where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll watch SRL, and it usually bites me every time. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there's a sudden, yep, there's whalers on the moon. Let's go.
Okay. Hippos is showing us Zeromus's true colors. It is, man, Genomus. Oh, I don't know why. I mean, I've seen this a couple times, and I know it's on the Highway to the Zenith Zone. I'm disappointed in this one for whatever reason.
Don't tell Scott that. They're all her babies.
No, I know.
You made her sad.
I apologize, Scala. Please forgive me. They are all amazing.
Big shout out to Scala though. She has done such an amazing job making these sprites look fantastic. We all have our personal favorites. We all have the ones that we look for, and every time we see a new one, we are even more surprised every time.
Yeah, I mean, she does so much work just to show us exactly what goes on. It is amazing the amount of work that she and everyone else in the community does. I think Scala was saying it's about half and half of her work and Boardface's work at this point in time. So, big shout out to everyone who does all the work in the back end of this. It's an amazing ROM hack and randomizer. So much fun.
Get Coop, the crystal was at Karate Man at Leviathan in Feymarch.
Oh,
wow.
That was a high rolling.
I didn't expect that. Wow.
That was a high rolling black Big Bang right there. He tried to get some nerfs off, but did not quite take.
So Dwarf Castle was also vanilla and a dupe. What?
Vanilla percent. That's it. I'm gonna meme, and I try hard not to meme, but UA, is this seed even randomized?
I mean, it's not randomized well. Oh man, so yeah, this is your call about who watches IRC and who doesn't. I'm wondering when a done happens. Are you in the IRC chat right now?
Yeah, I am. There has been no dones up to this point in time. Hippos wisely understands that. Yeah, he had some bad RNG with that Big Bang roll, and just said, "No, I'm not going to do any more levels. I'm going to jump right back into it."
Yeah, I wouldn't have been nearly as concerned. I would have just chalked that up to, well, unlucky me. Now, I will say this, in the grand scheme of things, the Odin spot had a life staff. That's a really good staff for Rosa to have. That beefs her up quite a bit on her healing.
Oh, absolutely. That's what, plus 15 to will? So yeah, that's a great item for any of your healers to have. Just I wouldn't say must have gear, but definitely an upgrade over, say, a short bow and iron arrows.
It's one of those never sell pieces. Like, if you're gonna put that on her going into Zero's without doubt.
So Rosa's using manual Zerk cast. Hippos never went to Dwarf Castle, which is where the Bacchus wines were. So even though he's got a run of 3 frontline fighters, opted to instead just vanilla Zerk it and see what happens.
Good night, Palom.
You know what? And in this case, I'm keeping Palom dead.
Yeah, like, no.
I'm not trying to keep Palom up here.
No way. Not even trying. But honestly, with simple Zerk casts, it kind of helps being able to throw the spoon off and everything like that. It's I just realized something. He's casting Cure 3s. Is he trying to conserve mana? I don't see why. Rosa should have plenty of mana to be able to cast Cure 4s.
Should have. And HP is at the point where it should have Cure 4, so
I'm slightly confused by that.
It might be that Cure 3s just conclude their casts faster.
Yeah, and I will say this, that is a really fast-moving Zeromus right now.
Yeah, it's quite fast.
And Kane just died with HP ran out. Man, those big bangs are doing a number.
And a black hole, so there goes Cecil's auto attack.
Man, you know, this is not an RNG thing here. I don't think this is RNG doing Hippo's in. Having 3 characters alive, he's not going to take the time to try and res anybody. Cecil and Edge should be able to do enough damage, but this is going to be a slower fight for sure. Supremacy is back in Fey March, so this
that's
might
good
be
news
for the first time.
Yeah.
And here with the Paladin Cecil too, so probably going to see that free fight and go right in. And do that. So we may have our second crystal. Now Zyrek is going into the Luca Cave, or Sealed Cave, however you want to call it, and going to find that package. Let's see if they do the save strats that Invenerable pulled off too.
Man, and Hippos gets Kane up with a Cure 3 just before a Big Bang. This is an unnerfed Big Bang.
Getting quite a few high rolls, man, in the 2000s plus. But can't afford not to Cure 4 at this point. And honestly, I don't know if I agree with the jumping with Kane. That's it does more damage, but at the same time you're going to be missing the cures, and he's just going to eat another Big Bang and die.
Yeah, I don't like this. I mean, I can understand his rationale because if he depends on how he does it. Oh, well, GG Kane. So we are in phase 2. We're at a good spot in the fight. He should still be able to be done relatively quickly here. Not going to get a sub-hour, unfortunately. We just passed the 1 hour mark. There's Supremacy with the crystal and says, oh boy.
Yeah, you know, if I'm Supremacy at that point and I see that, I'm probably thinking, yeah, great. And Zyrak did do exactly what we thought they would. They used their save states. Yeah, that's not the case at all. Using their saves appropriately and getting right out of the Luca game. So, yeah, Supremacy is going to be the next one heading in. The Invenerable is going to be doing that free fight now as well, and getting their crystals. So now it's just a matter of, does Zyrak go to Fey March?
Rose is down. Oh no.
And everybody's at low health. Oh, come on. I don't think he has any Cure 3s either or anything like that in his inventory.
We gotta hope to get Rosa before...
Nope. Oh, it's a wipe. Oh, no. Oh, man. Supremacy's got to do some grinding, but I was going to say, that's going to leave room for somebody to catch up here.
I think I saw... if I really want to take a look at what his Cecil is set at, I think if I remember his last pause menu, I see Cecil at 47, which, if I remember my tables rightly, Cecil's key agility at 28 agility is where you want to be at, is at 45 and 46. If he's at level 47, I think he's just 1 agility too high, and that throws Zeromus's speed off like crazy, which could explain how fast he's going.
I really think that's the case. This Zeromus is way too fast for a correct agility. Really, it's going way too fast.
Meanwhile, Inven is on his way. He's at a great spot, although his Cecil is quite a bit higher level 52. So he's going to be at a different agility point.
He's got Bacchus wines and stuff like that, though. He's got a little bit better of an inventory to be able to handle the faster Zeromus. I don't think he's going to have nearly as much trouble as Hippos is going to have.
No, I agree. I think he's got the inventory. When you have a fighter sort of setup that all of these runners really have at this point, and I think everyone's sitting. The only difference, Zyrek opted to ditch Quake Kid, so he has 4 frontline fighters. That's just above and beyond even what you want the Bacchus wines. You don't want to have to cast Zerk with Rosa 4 times.
Yeah, and in all honesty, I love the Bruiser strats, man. I love them.
It's simple. You just get through it.
I really think this is going to be Invenerable's game here, though. Even though Hippos is in the fight again, having the Bacchus wines on Invenerable's end, I think it's going to just work out in his favor.
Meanwhile, Supremacy and Zyrak are both on their grind. Supremacy does have the crystal. Zyrak does not. Wonder if Zyrak's going to be checking those 2 spots before heading up to the moon. We shall see, though.
You hope, because the grind can mean one of two things: either massive preparation for the moon, or let's prepare, go to Feymarch, get those out of the way, then go.
There we see those Bacchus wines.
Yeah, that's going to play a huge part, and that's going to push Invenerable right past Hippos, I think.
Look, their Palums have identical HP.
That's crazy. You don't see that often.
Yeah, I mean, Cecil is a little bit higher level. Rosa, I think, Hippos actually has a little bit higher level of Rosa. Their Kane is real close, like we're talking 12 HP more or something along those lines. So very, very comparable levels. Cecil is just quite a bit higher. It looks like Inven did not nerf his Cecil, kill him off early.
That was a crazy Rosa death there. I'm not sure what happened. Oh, did she eat the nuke?
She ate the nuke, yeah. And we do have our first winner. Penguinator finished in first place with a time of 104.57. GG Penguinator. There was about, mid-20s or so. We had quite a few people in this community race, not just the 4 that we see on stream here, but Penguinator takes first place.
And GG to Penguinator. Another really good runner in the community. Top notch. So yeah, not surprised Penguinator finished first at all. And Zyrak is going to be going to Feymarch. They will be right behind the curve here. Going to be grabbing their crystal very soon. Supremacy just starting their Zeroma's fight. In all honesty, depending on how well Hippos can manage this fight, Supremacy might even overtake Hippos because of the Bacchus wines.
Oh man, that would be really... that'd be just crazy.
This is a dead Cecil. Yeah, that's a dead Cecil right there. So gonna have to heal up, and oh man, that's gonna be... And, Invenerable's having their own troubles. Rosa just won't stay alive.
Throwing some Q2s at this point, just doing whatever he can.
And in all honesty, Cecil on Supremacy side is also a higher level than on Hippo's end as well. Now, Rosa is a little bit under-leveled compared to the other 2. The Yang is a little bit... I think when it comes to levels, Supremacy is a little bit lower on the levels end than the other 2, compared to what I'm seeing as far as the health goes. Kane is also pretty under-leveled compared to the other 2. I say under-leveled, but...
Yeah, I think, and here's the interesting thing. We have a lot of, what's going on with Zeromus? Is it just bad armor? Now that I stop and think about it, I didn't see a whole lot of people equipping much armor, or, they got some weapons, but, I saw maybe a samurai armor, one, but I didn't see any, above average end game sort of armor, or maybe a wizard hat at some point, but I'm struggling to think of a time where we got, good end game stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's been mostly weapons. I didn't see much armor. I don't even think we saw even a white shirt or anything like that. So that's crazy. I'm not used to that.
I don't know if anyone's necessarily used to that, but in that case, what you see, yeah, because even Inven, wasn't dealing.
Pinktail was sitting right next to the crystal.
I mean, nice.
What? Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Zyrak did the Maga Sister fight before Young, but I mean, he's going to be going in there with an adamant armor, so I mean that's going to help. But I think Invenerable is pretty close to having Zeromus down. To be honest with you, I don't think we're too far from the media phase.
No, I don't think you're right. And those Bacchus wines really have helped out quite a bit. A dead Palom is perfectly acceptable, especially when you don't have the armor, haven't buffed up Rosa's willpower quite as much. So casting on one fewer person means that's just more healing to go around for everyone else who's actually doing work.
Yeah, those Cure 4s become a lot more meaningful. Like, honestly, yeah, they're only doing, 1,200 on Rosa alone, so that's not very much on 4 people. Adding Palom to that mix would make it be possibly even less than 4 damage, and that's not what you want for these big bangs. This is coming down to the wire. Hippos and Invenerable are really close, and Invenerable gets it right there. GG Invenerable, 109.43.
GG Enven, lapping Hippos, coming from behind. Does finish in second place. We'll see if we can't get him in here to chat. Very well done. Meanwhile, Hippos and Supremacy still going strong.
I think, depending on what I see on it, okay, we have a media phase on Hippos, so Hippos probably is going to take it, but Supremacy is going to be right behind that. And that was a Enven joining us. GG.
I cannot tell you how excited I am that I didn't end up having to full clear Earth, then finally go to Moon to find the crystal after having 2 matches in a row on Saturday like that. Just seeing that crystal pop, I was, oh gosh, I was like, oh great, now I'm going to go do Twin Harp after this, and then I'm going to go to the Moon, it'll be in the last place I look, and I'll do another full clear, but did not have to do that today. Thank you.
Well, yeah, GG, my good friend. It was just a great race, a great time, all things said. How happy, I mean, no one on stream went to the Moon at all, ever.
Well, okay, good, it wasn't just me. Did anyone actually do Twin Heart, by the way?
No.
Well, hey, I'm gonna hop out of it. Oh, okay, well here, I'm gonna actually hop out of chat, because you said that Hippo's just wrapped up, and Supremacy's close, right?
Yes, let me tell you this, though, first, before you go.
Okay.
Hippos was at Zeromus first.
Oh, yeah.
They wiped 3 times.
My fight was so close, too. Like, I mean, I knew I could have taken Yang early just because of the single hit from Cecil, Paladin Cecil, wrapping up the fight, but I wanted to be ready to fight Maga Sisters if I went down there, too, and I know that they are absolute jerks in both Asura and Leviathan spots, so I waited till I could grind, went there then, and didn't have to fight them at all, so go figure.
Yeah, and they had the pink tail, but Hippos did finish at 110.28, less than a minute behind you.
Ooh, and with all those wipes, that has to feel rough.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. I was surprised with how that Zeromus fight was. I'm like, 3 Zerkers, this will be a problem, but Rosa had like no white magic boosting gear, and so she wasn't taking hits very well, and she wasn't very fast, and her Cure 4s were wimpy, so nearly went off the rails, but we managed to keep it together. But yeah, here, I'm going to hop out and reset and go to, who's still left on the restream who's not done yet?
Supremacy just finished at 112.10, and Zyrak is just starting the Zeromus fight.
Well then, never mind, I'm just going to go listen to Twin Harp on my own.
Go, quick, you can do it. Hurry up.
Okay,
you can do it.
I'm gonna dip out of voice chat and go to the cave, and maybe we can at least have some harp music for the fans tonight. I'll see y'all. I'll see y'all in a little while. Have a good night, guys.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Invet. Invet for the people, guys. That's so much fun. Hopefully we get to hear some great music here. Hopefully, and there's Supremacy joining us. GG, sir.
GG. Looks like it was pretty close, huh?
You can say that, yes.
Very. So here is your picture. Let me paint this for you. The Crystal sitting behind Free Fight Yang at Leviathan spot. Before anybody else does, Hippos goes down there, decides to make Yang say ouch, finds that crystal, heads over to Zeromus, wipes 3 times, and starts the Zeromus fight before anybody else. And Venerable starts just after him. Because of Bacchus Wines, Invenerable pulls ahead, finishes at 109.43. Right behind him, Hippos finally finishes after those wipes at 110.28, and then you come in at 112.10.
Ouch. Yeah, that's gotta hurt for Hippos.
Very close, and Zyrak is actually on Zeromus right now as we speak. So, pretty much just right neck and neck with everybody. It just came down to who went to Feymarch win, and how about that no moon?
Yeah, kind of glad the moon wasn't required, but I mean, they were for T2 S2. You got pretty generous weapons for your characters. Excalibur for Cecil and White Lance for Kane. Found the Life Staff at Odin's spot, so everyone was actually pretty well equipped. So moon would have been. I'm not sure if moon would have been good for me or not if it had been required. I think I was pretty comfortable with it. I think I spent a little bit too much time grinding. I had thought about, do I get Palom Nuke with make the fight faster? I probably should have done that, or have cut off my grind a bit earlier. Either one of those two. Instead of kind of where he was at, he wasn't really useful at all. So why did I bother? But I didn't necessarily need the extra hit points on Rosa. I think she would have been fine with 2100 instead of 2200.
Hey, we saw plenty of 2200 unnerfed Big Bangs in this run. It was just crazy. I do want to interrupt us just momentarily. Yes, Zyrak is on Zeromus, and yes, we're terribly concerned about how well he's going to do, but most importantly, Invenerable is going to show us what music we're going to see.
Because you can see music.
I never even found the Twin Harp. Where was that at?
FF6 fight music.
FF6 fight. Yeah, where was the Twin Harp?
It was at Dwarf Castle. Actually, he's the only one that did Dwarf Castle.
Okay.
But
gotcha.
I think this is great music to watch Zyrak beat Zeromus too.
You're not wrong. I'm digging it.
But I mean, all in all, this was amazing seed to watch y'all do. We were talking about how relatively, I guess, easy the I would say the flags were, but like we didn't see Wyvern at all. I was surprised by that. I was hoping to see Wyvern to kind of show off the strats for that. But really, everybody had a different plan. Zyrak avoided Antlion Cave for so long, and everybody was in a different spot, but everybody kind of converged at some point in the same spot. So it was really fun to watch. Very fun, and very well done. So just to confirm, though, that was Penguinator in first, Invenerable in second, Hippos third, and then Supremacy fourth.
Yeah, just boom, 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 boom.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's wild. And we had, mid-20s or so from the community race. Lots of great. And there's the flash from Zyrak. So Zyrak officially finished in 7th place at 116.50.
That's still impressive. So all 4 of our restreamed runners finished top 10, top 50% right there. And that's saying something, because this seed was pretty quick, and that crystal was not hidden by any means. It was hidden behind a free fight. Man, just GG to Zyrak too. I wonder if we can get them in there. Do we see if Hippos could join us?
Hippos said he had nothing good to say about everything after wiping to Zeromus a few times. So I do not blame him for any amount of saltine that he may be experiencing right now.
No harm in that at all. I completely understand. But GG to Hippos, no doubt.
No, I don't think anyone on stream did it, but I'm sure there's at least one person in this race that got rid of Dark Knight Cecil because of the availability of really fast characters, and never got the Paladin Cecil, so actually has to fight that whole fight, and that's really bad for them.
That's a good point. That's a very good point, Supremacy. Yeah, that's We were talking about that at the beginning too. Who was going to actually make the Ordeals play keep Paladin Cecil? And I think it was actually Hippos who waited to go to Ordeals until they had a weapon, and that's what drove them to Ordeals. But,
yeah, as soon as I found that Excalibur, I was like, well, here's Excalibur. We know Yang is in Summon Monsters. It's Paladin time.
Yeah,
Paladin power. Oh, meanwhile, Zyrak now joining us. GG Zyrak.
Thank you, Vitasia. GG Supremacy. And to the other three of you, it's not very often you come to top 25% in a big race and are dead last on the restream. So, hey, those boys are pretty good who are on there.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely good company. And we did find the Twin Harp, and Invenerable decided to provide us with some FF6 fight music for your Zeromus fight, which was actually very fitting. Excellent. But GG to you. I mean, it was very well played. I enjoyed your routing choices. Avoiding Antlion Cave was a bold move, and honestly, it didn't hurt you at all. It actually was very. It was useful. Like, the only thing that could have honestly changed would have been if you would have went to Fame Archer a little bit earlier. You could have very well been first. Yeah. I never play a seed the way I did this one. This was so weird the way this one played out for me, but I don't know. I was like, I know it's free. I know it's no free lunch, but I'm starting Cecil Tella. I've got Sirens right there. The best grind in the overworld is on Ordeals. I was like, screw it. Let's just fill out a party of 5 and go. And when Quake Kid was one of the ones who turned up, I was like, yeah, we're just gonna run with this. And I mean, it worked out pretty well. I just, Feymarch, taking a chance on not doing Feymarch earlier, although I don't think I would have been able to beat Yang, even had I tried it the first time I went down there anyway. But it probably would have been close. The only reason why I think you may have been able to do it is because of that free option with Paladin Cecil. After he does 2 or 3 kicks, once you hit him once with Cecil, he says, ouch, he's done.
Yeah, exactly. I would have had to get lucky and had Cecil basically not get hit in the face. Because even in the back row at the levels I was at, I don't know if he could have taken one of the physicals.
Oh no, that was a very powerful spot. He was hitting other. I mean, honestly, Vitasia made a good point. We didn't find much armor at all this seed. There was very little armor all over the place. Just where was it? We found a lot of good weapons, but nothing in the form of a white shirt, nothing in the form of even a Dragoon armor, anything like that.
Yeah, I was worried about equipment for a little while. I was like, man, I really don't want to have to grind out the levels to be able to take Blizzard, Sword, Cecil, and Ogre Axe Cane into Zeromus, and then the seed just threw weapons all over me all at the same time. It was like, oh, hey, there's a White Spear, there's an Excalibur, there's a Mirror Sane, all back to back to back. It was like, all right, I guess we're fine for weapons.
Yeah, without a doubt. The weapons came, and, I'm not used to it, and I don't think anybody else really is either, not seeing some sort of, usually the other way around. We get a bunch of armor, and it's like, oh, great, now what am I going to get rid of? You see the crystal armors and stuff like that, and you get rid of those easy, but you see Dragoons, you see Samurai, you see all of it. But you're looking for that one Excalibur or something to give, even a Defender Sword to give Cecil, or even some sort of spear to give to, or the Avenger to give to Kane. This time, weapons aplenty, 0 armor. But on that note, since all 4 of our runners on stream have finished, any final thoughts, Supremacy?
So I have this nasty habit of not checking the Baron shop until I have money, which is usually when I go back to do the Baron Inn fight. Yeah, that burned me here, but I really wish I had those sirens when I first dipped the underworld.
That's something to possibly put in the. Let me check that right off the bat. Yeah, you didn't even go to Baron right away anyway. You literally went straight to Mist.
Yeah, had Tella, decided, let's loot Mist, let's get Bedward item, ended up with Earth Crystal, so I was able to loot that whole thing, was like, okay, now where'd we go?
Yeah, that was everybody else did the typical go to Baron route, check Baron in, and all that kind of stuff, and you were like, nah, I'm going to Mist, never mind. So yeah, that was very interesting to see. There was a lot of divergence right off the bat. But Zyrak, any final thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think I'll just keep on checking the Fame March bosses from here on out. Took a chance and didn't check them today. Probably just go back to keeping an eye down there and seeing what could have been next time.
And there you have it, folks. That is the lessons from the pros, I guess you could call it. But I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I want to thank Invenerable, Supremacy, Hippos, Zyrak, all of you for being on the restream and showing us exactly how it's done, as well as to our tracker, J Money Motas. Thank you very much for that. And the Tie-Dye guy for being our restreamer today. Absolutely doing a fantastic job. The hero we needed to make sure we got that music, FF6 music over top of the Zeromus fight. That was totally perfect and well within a great finish. I also want to thank my co-commentator, Vatasia. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Man, UA, I love commentating with you. It's always a great time, and always great commentating in Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. Go ahead, join us over on Discord if you can. And thank you guys.